Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about Duel Quest and how to gear for it because a lot of people have been asking me, Karo, you talked about Duel Quest in yesterday's video as well as in several of your Meseta making guide videos, but I've never done Duel Quest before and I want to get into it. How do we actually gear and prepare ourselves for this game mode? But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. Alright, so the very first thing I want to talk about is how do you even get to Duel Quest? You have to access the quest counter first, and then under the Duel Quest tab over here, you're going to notice that there are 3 different phases of Duel Quest. There's Duel Quest Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3. Keep in mind, Phase 1 is split into 4 separate parts. You do need to clear all 4 of them in order to get the best rewards. However, you only need to do this once. As you can see right here, I've got a little check mark next to it. At the beginning, I don't believe you'll have this check mark. When you click on it, it won't give you the 50 star gems for completing it yet. So all you need to do is complete this once and you get 50 star gems per phase over here. So that's a total of 200 star gems right here just for Phase 1. Now as for Phase 2 and Phase 3, you get rewarded 100 star gems on the first time completion on each of these phases. So you're essentially looking at 400 star gems right here if you complete all of Duel Quest. However, this is the important part. When you augment your armors and your weapons, you can only augment for a specific phase. So for example, let's say that you have Duel Quest Phase 1 augments. When you bring that gear into Phase 2, it will not work. Phase 2 will need Phase 2 augments, and Phase 3 will need Phase 3 augments. So with that being said, let me just show you my gear over here through my loadouts. Loadouts is another very important thing that you should really learn about because it allows you to immediately switch all of your gear as well as your main class and subclass incredibly quickly. As you can see, all of my pieces of gear over here for all the different Duel Quests I'm doing are very different. So Duel Quest Phase 3, this is the one that we are currently farming, or the one that I'm currently farming, in order to craft Grand Dread Keeper. And as you can see, I am using an Argenti weapon. Is the Argenti weapon the best for Duel Quest? Probably not. However, I did not want to invest that much into the weapon itself, and while they give you the Argenti weapons for free, it's got a fixed attack 5 and it's already enhanced to level 80, so this is why I decided to use the Argenti weapon. However, there are much better choices out there. For example, over here I have a Neo Astron weapon. You know, the Neo Astron weapon's potential is much better than the Argenti weapon. However, at the end of the day, it's really up to you on what weapons and what armors you want to use. The only thing that is super important is actually the augments themselves. So as you can see over here on Duel Quest Phase 3, the augments that I'm using are all of the P.03 augments. They're the Defi Phase 3 augments. And you just want to use all 6 of them. There's only 6 of them. So there's the Ares, Ceres, Plutos, Makames, Holmes, as well as Sednas. So you just want to use these 6 augments on all of your armors as well as your weapons. Now I decided to just use the Ajax armors that we got from the seasonal shop because again, it's already fully limit broken all the way to 80 and it's got fixed guard level 5, so it was a very easy choice to use. However, do keep in mind, since I'm using such a low rarity armor, my HP is incredibly low. So for example, right now you can see my HP is 1086. However, I don't have a food buff, so let me pick up the food buff and I'll show you how much HP I have with a food buff, since you're probably going to be doing Duel Quest with the food buff. As for the recipe that I use for my food buff, it's 1 crisp vegetable, 1 crisp fruit, 1 rich seafood, as well as 3 rich meats, as well as 4 crisp meats. This is the recipe that I use in all the regions, and the reason I use this recipe is because it gives me potency plus 9.2%, damage resistance plus 5%, max HP increased by 5%, as well as PP increased by 10. This is just the most balanced type of food that I prefer. However, you can just go with 10 crisp meat and just get 10% more potency. If you want to do that, it's perfectly fine. And if you eat the recipe in the specific region, you get the region match effect, which actually gives you additional buffs. As you can see, potency to weak point plus 3%, PP consumption minus 5%, and then in Kavaris, there is the low temperature damage resistance plus 30%. Now, this region match effect actually carries over to whatever region you go to, as long as you eat the recipe in the correct region. So as you can see, mine is the Kavaris recipe, so when I eat this in Kavaris, I get the region match effects. However, let's say that I eat my Return recipe in Kavaris, as you can see, I only get the boost effects, I do not get the region match effects. So make sure that you do eat the correct recipe so that you get those additional buffs. As you can see over here, tons of buffs. Foods are very, very powerful. And now with the food buff, you can see my HP has increased drastically to 1140. However, we are not done yet. We also want to pick up our alliance buff. So you want to go to creative space over here, your alliance space, and then you can just hop over to my alliance space over here in order to pick up the mag buff. So once you're here, you're simply going to interact with the mag over here and receive mag buffs, and we're going to receive everything. As you can see over here, it actually increases your maximum HP by 10% and gives you another 10 PP. This is very, very powerful and increases your potency by 5%. So you want to pick all of that up. And now with all our buffs over here, you can see my HP has increased drastically. We basically got like 200 more HP just from all of those buffs. However, the main reason why my HP is so high is because of the gear I'm using. As you can see, my Octo Armor Argas, each piece of gear is giving me 105 HP, which is why I'm able to have so much HP as well as photon power. However, as we can see over here, I'm going to switch to my Duel Quest Phase 3 armors. We go to loadout over here, and my Duel Quest Phase 3, I'm using an Argenti weapon as well as the Ajax armor. You're going to see my HP plummet. So I'm going to equip that. And now if we go to personal, character information, stat information, you can see my HP plummeted from 1200 to 900, and my photon power went from 220 down to 154. And this is because the Ajax armor only gives me 30 HP and 5 PP per piece versus my Octo armor, which gives me 105. Now do keep in mind that this 105 HP as well as this 21 photon power, a large thing that plays into this part is actually the augments themselves. As you can see, you know, my Gladius Soul gives me HP, my High Ale Domina gives me more HP and photon power, Gigas Master more HP, Hal Finale more HP and PP. And that is why my Octo armors give me so much health, versus my Ajax armors where I am just using the Defi Phase 3 capsules where they don't actually give me any extra HP or photon power. Now another thing that is incredibly important about these Defi capsules is it only works in Duel Quest Phase 3 quest, alright? And on top of that, you need to read the yellow sign right here. Note, applies only to main class weapons. So in order for all of these Defi capsules to work, I actually need to use a main class weapon. So since I'm playing Braver, that means it has to be a katana or a bow. Let's say that I change to Braver subclass and I use a katana, none of these augments are going to work, because they only work for main class weapons. So let's say that I change to a Slayer main class, that means I have to use a Gunblade in order to get all of the Defi capsules to activate and actually be OP and strong. If I don't use a Gunblade and let's say that I use a katana or a bow, I will not get any of these buffs, and these armors are essentially just, you know, the base stats. I'm literally getting 3.5% potency, 30 HP and 5 photon power, and that is it. The game will actually register as if I had no augments in this armor. So it's very, very important that you actually play it with your main class. So as you can see here, I'm playing with Braver and Waker subclass. The reason why I have the Waker subclass is because my HP is awfully low and I have like basically no defenses and I'm like super paper thin. So I need to make sure that I'm able to tank through several attacks if I do make several mistakes when I'm farming in Duel Quest. Now I know some of you guys may be asking, is the Argenti weapon even good enough to clear the Duel Quest? And I can assure you it is enough, because the main thing that you're actually looking at are going to be the augments themselves. This is what gives you all your crazy power. Because as you can see over here, they all give you 7% potency and they give you some really broken skills over here. For example, Pluto's give you 7% potency, critical hit rate plus 5%. You know, with Ceres over here, offensive PP recovery plus 30%, damage resistance plus 25%. You have a lot of very, very busted skills over here, and that's why these augments only work in Duel Quest. And if you have a full set of armor and weapon with all of the augments, you're going to absolutely tear through the boss, as I'm going to show you right now. Literally, I'm going to play as sloppy as I can, and we're just going to destroy the boss. So as we can see over here on Duel Quest Phase 3, normally you want to break his arms. However, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to use the most brain dead method and just focus his core over here, so that, you know, I'm just doing raw damage. I don't care about revealing any weak spots or whatever. I'm just going to be beating the living daylights out of this boss. And as you can see here, you know, I'm playing kind of sloppy. I'm not trying to min-max anything. I'm just playing very, very casually and doing whatever the hell I want. And as you can see from the damage on the top right corner, we're already at 12,000 DPS. It's actually absolutely insane. And the reason why I have the Waker subclass is because the boss is hitting me for 200 damage. I only have 900 HP, so I can potentially die very, very easily. So the nice thing about here is the moment he breaks, we are gonna use our Photon Blast. Look at my damage. Bang, 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 bang. Let's get that crit. 77,000 damage crit. And let us use our Katana Combat End over here. Oh, never mind, he got out of the way. Sag. Okay. And we're still at what, 13,000 DPS right now? And this is with an Argenti weapon, guys. So, you know, if you use a better weapon, you're just gonna have even more damage. So the weapon itself doesn't really matter that much because the augments, as long as you have all of them, is just gonna hard carry you super, super hard. And so it really depends on how min-max you want to go. If you just care about clearing and getting the 400 star gems, then you can just use an Argenti weapon, but just make sure that you actually use all of the different capsules. I do need to heal here as I am getting whacked and beaten up. Ouch. And let's focus a little bit as I just got beat up pretty hard there. But we have our Photon Blast ready again, as you can see. So, you know, you're very, very powerful in Duel Quest if you use all of the Defi capsules. So there we go. We stun the boss. Let's Photon Blast him. Let's do another 77,000. Boom. And then we just do this. Brown, brown, brown. And you dead. Easy. So as you can see there, I was getting my butt absolutely whooped over there. We still cleared it in 2 minutes and 4 seconds. That's an S rank. As long as you beat it in under 2 minutes and 30 seconds, it will always be an S rank. And you will get a bunch of goodies over here. We got Def Technique, and we've got the Fusia Capsules, which is the main thing that we actually want. The Fusia Capsules, strangely enough, go straight into your inventory or your storage for some reason. But nevertheless, that is what we actually want. So now let us head back. So with that done, the next thing I want to talk about are, of course, the Fusia Capsules. As you can see, the Fusia Capsules are not tradable on the personal shop, which means they are only used for crafting. For example, the Dual Fusia, I believe this one is used to make our Gladiasoul. So we come over here to augment capsules and we go to Gladiasoul, and yeah, as you can see, Starosoul, Dual Fusia, as well as Iradisoul 4. So in order to make Gladiasoul, you're going to need to farm the Dual Fusias yourselves if you're going to craft these. Now do keep in mind, you can sell Gladiasouls on the market as this capsule is tradable. So if you don't want to farm Dual Fusias, you can just buy this off the market. However, do keep in mind you're going to be paying a premium for it because other people are going to be farming the Duel Quest in order to craft these in order to sell it to make a profit. So in order to check which Fusia capsule drops from what, all you need to do is click on the Duel Quest Phase 1 over here, and you can see that the Formido Fusia drops from all of the different Duel Quest Phase 1s. So it doesn't matter which one you do, you can do 1-4, 1-3, 1-anything, whatever you want, and that is where you get the Formido Fusia. If you want the Dual Fusia, you need to farm for Phase 2 over here. This one drops Dual Fusia. And if you want to craft Grand Dread Keepers, you're going to need to farm Phase 3 in order to get this Fusia. So that's how it works. You simply just farm any of these to get all of those Fusia capsules. You head over to the item lab over here, go to Exchange Enhancement Materials, Augment Capsules, and over here you just go down this list and see what you want to craft and what you need. So Gladiasoul is going to be Duel Quest Phase 2, nothing here, and Grand Dread Keeper, you know, we're going to need this Fusia. Gigas Maste, we're going to need the Formido Fusia, so this is actually the Duel Quest Phase 1. So you kind of just need to go down the list over here, see which high value capsule is going up in price, and depending on which high end capsule that you decide to go for or to farm for in order to make profit, that will determine what type of augments you need for the Duel Quest. Because remember, Duel Quest Phase 1 is going to need the P01 capsules, Duel Quest Phase 2 is going to need the P02 capsules, and the Duel Quest Phase 3 is going to need the P03 capsules. A great example to show all these capsules is actually the event shop, as they offer all of them. However, do keep in mind it might be cheaper to buy off the player market because some of them are going for incredibly cheap. However, let me just show you, as we can see from the current seasonal shop, we're going to scroll down a little bit. And right here, you can see this is the Ceres P1, Holmus P1, Ares P1, Plutos P1, Machames P1. Then over here, we've got the P2 capsules. We've got Ceres, Holmus, Ares, Sednas, Plutos, Machames. Then we've got the Phase 3 capsules, again, Ceres, Holmas, Ares, Sednas, Plutos, Machames. Now do keep in mind that the Phase 1 capsules only have 5. As we can see, there's Ceres, Halmas, Ares, Plutos, Makames. Only 5 different capsules, alright? So if you're looking at the phase 1 capsules and you're like, wait a second, Kero, I only have 5 of the Defi capsules. Where's the 6th one? The phase 1 capsules don't have a 6th one. If we look at the phase 2 capsules, we've got Ceres, Halmas, Ares, Sednas, Plutos, Makames. We've got 6 of them, alright? Then we look at the phase 3 capsules, we have another 6, okay? So depending on which dual quest you're planning to farm for, these are the capsules that you want to aim for, and you want it on all of your armors and all of your weapons. You fill up all the slots with these capsules over here because they are super overpowered for dual quests only. Please remember that these augments do not work anywhere else. They only work in dual quest, alright? So if you're wearing armors and your weapons with these augments and you go to like a PSE combat zone, you go anywhere that is not a dual quest, it's not going to work. It's going to pretend that you have no augments in your armors and your weapons, and you're going to be incredibly weak, alright? So please make sure that if you are using all of these Defi capsules and you're farming dual quest, when you finish farming dual quest, that you immediately switch back to your normal gear. So again, we're just going to come back to our class counter, we're going to go to loadouts, and over here I have default loadout. So I can just go here, I say yes, and boom, I'm now in my default loadout. I can put everything else back into storage, and voila, I've got Braver main class for subclass. My sub palettes are all set as well. It saves everything. It's super easy to do. Now, if you're wondering how do you even make a loadout, all you need to do is set up everything like how you normally would. Then you would go to loadouts over here, and under save loadouts, you just click on this and say yes. Once you've saved a loadout over here, it'll say Braver or whatever your main class is. You're going to click on this again, and right here you can change loadout name. So let's do this as PSE Burst. So now we know that, oh, this is my PSE Burst loadout. So it's super easy to set up all of these different loadouts so that you can immediately just switch to whatever you're farming for. You decide to do Duel Quest Phase 3, you just click on this, select loadout, boom, you're done. You want to switch to Duel Quest Phase 2, click on this, select loadout, boom, you're done. It's super easy to switch to a specific loadout, and it even saves all of your different weapon camos. So for example, my Duel Quest Phase 1, I actually have a spear weapon camo, so when I load that out, look, I have a beautiful weapon camo saved over here, and when I go here, let's put all of this into my storage. You can see over here, hey, it automatically equipped this partisan weapon camo onto myself so that I have this beautiful spear. Now you can also bind outfits to loadouts over here. So when you click on this, you can actually say link with looks, and when you click on it, you can select a look to link. And right here, you can actually select all of your different looks. So let's say I want to assign the derp look over here. I can say yes, and boom. So now whenever I want to do my PSE bursting, I go select loadouts, click yes, and then it will ask, would you like to load appearance number 2 derp? I say yes as well, and say yes. And boom, now you can see that it loaded my super derpy look with this loadout. And this is just a very easy way to bind a specific look to a very specific loadout. So let's go back to our default loadout and let's change this look. Let's bind it to our regular look or our 2024 look. Select yes, boom. And so when I load this look, I can look normal again and say yes, yes, yes. And boom, look at that. I'm back to my normal look. I don't look derpy anymore and it's all good. Now do keep in mind when you switch loadouts, your inventory will get filled with all of the different weapons and armors that you bound to the loadouts. So you are going to need to put everything back into storage to clean things up a bit.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye!